Okay, hi everybody. I'm gonna put together a quick 15-minute flow. I've been doing it in the studio this week, a longer version, of course, like an hour. And I call it putting on your socks. And in place of socks, I'm gonna use a block today, but if you don't have a block at home, you can use a pair of socks if you like. It's probably gonna be a little bit harder. Or you don't need a block. You can just pretend that you have a block. You can use a water bottle, something in place of a block, or not, totally up to you. Again, about 15 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna start my timer. Step at the top of your mat. We don't have a ton of time, so we'll just start in Tadasana, so mountain pose at the top of your mat. Whew, feet about hip distance apart. Get strong right away. Strong without too much tension, so just find that balance of sort of soft and hard. Whew, and then inhale, reach your arms all the way up. Exhale, fold all the way down. Inhale, lift up halfway. On the exhale, just set your left toes behind you. Come into a runner's lunge for a moment and then drop your back knee. Inhale, reach the arms high, low crescent lunge. On the exhale, fingertips come down. Work to straighten your front leg, Ardha Hanumanasana. Good. On the inhale, come back into runner's lunge, so lifting the back knee. On the exhale, step to the top of your mat and forward fold. Drop the head. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, press your feet down, energy down. Inhale, reach all the way up, get tall. On the exhale, go all the way back down into a fold. Make sure to drop your head right at the very end of the breath. Inhale, lift up halfway. Now we're gonna do the other side. So exhale, send your right toes back into a runner's lunge, drop the back knee down. Inhale, reach high, low crescent. Exhale, half Hanuman, half splits. Straighten the front leg. Inhale, runner's lunge, lift the back knee. Exhale, step the top of your mat, forward fold. Lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. We're gonna do one more time, both sides. So go all the way back down on your exhale. Lift up halfway. Exhale, left leg back, drop the back knee, getting ready for the low lunge. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, work to straighten the front leg. I like to lift my toes. Inhale, runner's lunge, be long, look down at the mat. Inhale, step forward, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, Urdhva Hastasana. Forward fold, go all the way back down. We've got one more side. Lift up halfway. Send your right leg back, drop the back knee. Inhale, reach up, low lunge. Exhale, half splits. Pull those left toes back towards your nose. Inhale, runner's lunge, back knee lifts. Exhale, step to the top of your mat, forward fold. Lift up halfway. Forward fold. Hands to heart center, sit down in a chair. Utkatasana. So we're moving a little to start the class just because where we're going, putting on our socks eventually, we need a little bit of room. So we're making space with some movement. So hands at heart center, start to get lighter in your right foot by lifting the heel, eventually lifting the whole foot away from the earth. Now you're gonna stand up and take that right knee with you, and then cross the ankle on your left thigh and pull your hips behind you into what is most likely a very tiny little pigeon. It's early in the practice, so maybe it's tight, maybe not. Maybe you've got super loose hips. And then stand all the way up again, take the knee, and then sit down in a chair. We're gonna go right to the other side. So sit in your chair, hands at your heart. Start by lifting the left heel and then eventually the toes. My whole foot is lifting off the earth. Stand up, take the knee, it's about hip height. Make the cross, ankle on thigh, pull your hips behind you. Just notice the difference from side to side. One side is usually a little happier. My gaze is still down, so I still have a little double chin. My back of my neck is very long. Stand all the way up, take the knee, and then sit down in a chair. We're gonna move a little bit faster. So lift your right foot up, stand up, get tall. On the exhale, cross the ankle, pull your hips behind you. Standing pigeon. Inhale, stand up. Exhale, sit down. We'll do the other side. Inhale, stand up. Take the left knee. Cross it. Exhale, pull your hips behind you and down. Inhale, stand up. Take the knee. Exhale, sit down. Okay. One more time, both sides. Keep moving with your breath. Might even get easier as you keep going. Good. One more time, I'm on the left. I'm standing up, taking the knee, crossing the ankle, pulling my hips down and behind me. Standing up, and then sitting down. Stay seated. You can keep your hands at heart center. You can take an arm variation. I'm actually going to reach my arms behind me, interlace my hands. Take my feet slightly wider than hip distance apart. So I've created a bind behind me. Just going to rinse the shoulders a little bit in the fold. So keep that bind behind you. Take an inhale. On the exhale, fold forward. Take the arms overhead. Keep the bind for another inhale. On the exhale, release your fingers down toward the earth. And then lift up halfway. Exhale, plant your hands, step or hop back. Take any flow that feels good right now. And eventually, we'll meet in a downward facing dog. Whew. Okay, reach your right leg to the sky. Just one breath to lift up. On the exhale, step through to a runner's lunge. Set your feet. I like mine about hip distance apart, maybe slightly wider, and then reach all the way up, arms overhead, high crescent lunge. Whew. Arms overhead. I like to keep my arms straight, but it's not necessary. You can take your arms wide, you can make a W, any sort of arm variation you want. Pushing your back leg towards straight, really tall through your whole front body. Little engagement through the muscles of your front body too, through the abdominals muscles, so you're not sort of sinking into your lower back. Bring your hands to heart center. We're going to come to stand at the top of the mat, but you're going to pull your left knee hip height. So start to transfer the weight forward. Come to stand. Pull the left knee hip height. Good. Now listen carefully. We're going to pick down, or we're going to reach down to the earth, and we're going to pick up that block, or pick up our socks. I'm putting my fingers in quotations now. So we're going to start playing with our socks. So hands at heart center. You're going to fly that left leg behind you. And then you're going to reach down to the earth and you're going to grab that block or whatever you're using. Now, the block is sort of the widest part of the block is in between my hands. And then I'm going to stand up again. I'm going to take the knee hip height. So exactly as I was before. Whoo. Now, pull the knee a little bit higher. We're going to put our socks on. So you're going to take this block and you're going to thread it under that left foot. Good. So we just put on our socks. We're going to take our socks off. Good. Get tall again. Reach your arms overhead. Keep your arms overhead, warrior three. Keep a hold of that block. Good. So now I'm sort of one long line parallel with the earth. I'm going to bring this line a little bit closer to the earth by bending my standing knee. So start to come into this one-legged squat. You're going to bend, get really close as you can, and then carefully step those left toes back, rise high into a crescent lunge again. Ha. Okay, big breath in and out, and then runner's lunge. Block comes down to the earth. Use it. We're going to keep it and come into Parsvottanasana. Slide those back toes. These are my left toes. I'm going to slide them about halfway up the mat. Plant the back heel. Angle the toes almost directly toward the front of the room, and then work to straighten both legs. I'm going to keep the block because I like it because I can lengthen my spine a lot. I'm not worried about bringing my fingertips to the earth. In fact, because my hands are a little bit off the earth, I can get a little longer, softer, some more movement in and around the spine. Let your head drop. Okay, take one more full breath in and out. Good, and we're going to keep this shape and revolve this. So we're going to turn this into a revolved triangle. So I'm going to use the block for this revolved triangle. I'm going to take that block, I'm going to bring it right to the inside edge of my front foot. Left fingertips on the block. Lift your spine up so you're about halfway lifted. I'm about halfway lifted. You might be lifted more or less. You want to get to a place where you've got a fairly neutral spine. Bring the palm of your right hand to the small of your back and start to rotate or revolve to the right long edge of your mat. Now your hand can stay on the small of your back. If you're comfortable creating wings and reaching your right fingertips up to the sky, you can do that. Stay for 2 more breaths. Last one. Okay, right fingertips back to the earth. We're going to turn this into Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. So bend into your front knee, turn the ball of your back foot. Take the block. I'm going to use the block again for my half moon. Bring it about a foot or 12 inches in front of your big toe on the right side. Right fingertips now to the block. Come into Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. Good. Left hand either on the hip or reach up to the sky. Create your wings. Stay for 2 more breaths. Last one, and then start to bend through your knees. Lots of control. Hands to heart center, sit down in a chair, Utkatasana. Take a full breath in, and then forward fold. Lift up halfway. Plant your hands, step or hop back. Take a flow that feels like the flow you need right now. And then we'll meet in downward facing dog and do the second side. So lift your left leg up on an inhale. On the exhale, step through runner's lunge. Pause. Feet are set. Just so you feel steady, I always think about these standing poses as like you're building a house. So you want a really, really strong foundation. Everything above the foundation is going to be great as long as you've got a strong foundation. You're sort of setting yourself up for success. And then rise high, crescent lunge. Okay, stay in this crescent lunge for about 2 more rounds of breath. And then bring your hands to heart center. Start to transfer your weight forward. Come to stand. This time you're going to pull the right knee hip height. Get tall. Notice sometimes when things get physically difficult, we tend to round the shoulders, especially as adults. I know I do. So always sort of checking in, making sure that you've got some space, some width between the collarbones. We're going to go down and pick up our socks now. So stretch your right leg behind you, and then reach your fingertips down for whatever you're using as a block. Widest part of whatever you're using in between your hands. Start to stand up again. Bring the right knee hip height. Embrace the wobble. We're going to put on our socks. So pulling the knee tight, 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 and high. Slide what you're using for socks underneath the thigh, pretending you're putting on a sock. Then we're going to take our socks off. Good. Keep the knee hip height. Take the block overhead. Warrior 3. Hee-ha. Now start to bring your shape a little bit closer to the earth. So bending into the standing knee. Get a little bit closer to the earth, a little bit closer, and then step back, high crescent lunge. Block comes overhead. Good. Use this as opportunity to give some space to the right hip flexors. When we're putting on our socks, the hip flexors are working really hard. So engage, disengage. It's good practice for the muscles. Stay here for 1 more full breath in and out, and then runner's lunge. Block comes to the earth. Let's come into Parsvottanasana. Use the block. So slide your right toes halfway up. Position your feet in a way that feels good for Parsvottanasana. My feet are about hip distance apart. And then just start to fold your torso over that left thigh. And the block has 3 heights. So you pick a height that gives you sort of maximum comfort through your lower back. So you're rooting down into both feet. So there's an active connection between your feet and the earth, and then sort of length and softness through your spine. Moving this into a revolved twist, revolved triangle. I'm going to use the block. Pick a height that works. Block comes to the inside edge of the front foot, right fingertips to the block. Palm of your left hand to the small of your back. Neutral spine, start to rotate. So now rotating to the left long edge of your mat. Good. Hugging it around your waist, sort of lifting up your pelvic floor. Okay, 1 more full breath in and out. Back through Parsvottanasana, so left fingertips down to the earth. Bend into your front knee, turn the ball of your back foot, reposition the block if you're using it for Ardha Chandrasana. I don't think I'll use it on this side. And then coming into half moon. So turning your pelvis, turning your belly button toward the right long edge of your mat. Get as light as you can in your left fingertips. Wherever they are grounded, whether it's the block or the earth, lighter, lighter in the fingertips. Okay, one more full breath in and out. Soften through your knees. Hands to your heart. Sit down in a chair. Utkatasana. Take a full breath in. Forward fold. Lift up halfway. Plant your hands, step or hop back. Take a flow, whatever flow works for you right now. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Good, just a few more breaths. Either in dog or if you want to take one more vinyasa, we're coming down to the earth for good. So take what you need. When you are ready, make your way onto your bum. Roll all the way onto your back. Keep your knees bent, feet planted. And we're going to take some dynamic bridges. Just to give some more space to the front body. We didn't really do any back bends in that sequence. So just before we finish everything off, making sure we give some space, some movement through the spine, and maybe some more space to the hip flexors. So lifting your hips, reaching your arms overhead. Take an inhale. On the exhale, bringing your hips down, bringing your arms back down to the earth by your hips. Okay, just continue to move with your breath. Okay, keep going. Let's take 3 more rounds of breath. So if you are moving and you're like, I feel like I want to hold it, you've got time. Come into a bridge or a wheel, hold it for the next 3 breaths. I'm going to continue to move. Okay, 1 more in and out. And then bring your hips down. Let your knees fall together. Walk your feet wide. Good. Now, that was a challenging flow, and there was a lot of movement through the hips and for the glutes, challenged our balance. If there's anything else you feel like you need in this practice, whether it's movement, whether it's a particular shape that you're craving, take it now. When you are ready, make your way into our final resting pose, Shavasana.